President Trump also wants to invigorate energy production, and his recent executive order to execute part of the plan might put the Department of Justice on a collision course with state laws targeting greenhouse gas pollution. The president revealed the order earlier this week at an event backing the coal industry. This comes as U.S. electricity demand ramps up to meet the growth of artificial intelligence and cloud computing applications. For more, we turn to Dan Misleh, Executive Director of the Catholic Climate Covenant. Dan, it's great to be with you. If and when the Department of Justice attempts to overturn a state climate law, how would they go about it? What would that look like?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that it's interesting that the Trump administration wants to overturn these laws, but the states have, they have legislatures, they have executives, they have courts. And so I think that it will be difficult for the Trump administration to simply roll back laws that are already on the books.
Now, while there is a lot of pushback to this executive order, the American Petroleum Industry applauded the move, saying that it will help restore the rule of law from, quote, activist-driven campaigns. How would you respond to that?
Look, Benedict XVI, Pope Francis, Pope St. John Paul II, all talked about the need to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels because it's contributing to climate change and the warming of our planet. Every state in this country almost has had the impacts from climate change, whether they recognize that or not. So we have to begin to dramatically reduce the use of fossil fuels in order to protect the future for our children and grandchildren.
When you say about the future and you talk about how your Catholic faith guides a lot of this work, you spent 11 years at the USCCB as a policy advisor. What is your advice to the faithful on how they think about these issues from a policy perspective?
Well, I think we need to think about them in terms of God's good gift of creation to all of us. And in Genesis, we were called to be caretakers with God for the planet. It's not unlimited in its resources, and so we have to conserve those resources not only for ourselves but for future generations. And so I think we ought to look at this in terms of the beautiful gift that God has given us and the need to take care of it better.
What comes next then with this executive order, and how do you see this playing out?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of things that are happening within this administration at the present time. A lot of these things are going to the courts. So we'll just have to wait and see. I think many of the states will say, look, these are states' rights. Every state has the ability to, create its own laws and enforce those laws and carry out those laws. So we'll see. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't really know how this will all play out.
Well, thank you so much, Dan, for being with us. Dan Misleh, Executive Director of the Catholic Climate Covenant.
Thank you.